What made you go into martial arts?
It was something I was always interested in as a kid. I used to go into the library in like junior high and high school and look at books on martial arts because it never occurred to me to like go to my parents and be like, "Mother, father, I wish to take martial arts." My father probably would have said yes. I don't know why I felt like I was kind of on my own there, but um, that scene in the Karate Kid where Mr. Miyagi comes in and Daniel's trying to learn karate from a book, and Miyagi's clearly like, "Well, that's bull." That resonates with me because I tried to do that as a kid.
So did you
So
try to do the wax on, wax off thing?
no, no, actually, the wax on, wax off, those are circular blocks that are not common in a hard karate system. So
Right.
they kind of they were. I think they might have been embellishing a tiny bit there.
What would you say is your or was or is your martial arts style, and what rank have you achieved?
I hold an instructor level rank in a Kuntao and Silat system that was created by a fellow named Willem Reeders. So it's primarily Indonesian in origin.
Nice.
That's really good.
And right?
Yeah.
Wow. And to be an instructor, it's like, you got to be high
Well,
up there.
I don't
Got the
actually teach
keys.
anybody, but I mean, to become an instructor, you have to get your black belt, and then you have to learn an entire new system that they added on to like that level. So I had to learn an entire Bakwa system, which is as different from everything up to that point as possible, because Bakwa is a circular system. If a popular culture point of reference in the movie The One with Jet Li, the good Jet Li does Bakwa, which is a circular, very flowing system, and that's very different from anything I had learned to that point. And I'm terrible at memorization. I'm not good at memorizing things. So, of course, to get to my instructor level rank, I had to memorize all of the forms of that system of Bakwa and be able to perform them without making a mistake. So I was literally, I made flashcards to remind myself of the component moves so I wouldn't forget what was in each form. It's the only time I ever remember studying for a martial arts test.
But now you got it like on lock.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to martial arts, you get to a point where you get older and then you forget some stuff that you never liked or never did anyway. And then you just do what you want to do. And a lot of that is pieces of what you learned along the way. And sometimes you're just like, I don't like doing that particular move, so I'm never going to do it again.
Right, right. So with that being said, well, how many years of like teaching experience do you have?
I've never taught anybody. When I got my instructor level rank, I never taught any students.
Okay.
There we go.
I could instruct if I wanted to.
I believe so. I believe that.
I don't want to teach anybody. So, I mean,
nice.
Interesting. It's interesting.
Now, do you hold any certifications, or besides, obviously your black belt?
No, but I have a lot of, I guess you'd call it non-traditional experience in the fields of self-defense and survival and related fields, because for many years I worked for an internet marketer. I've written books. Content creation was one of my tasks for that internet marketer. I wrote a book on home invasion defense that was one of his bestsellers, for example. One of the last things I did on my way out the door was write a book on survival. So, and I've written multiple books on survival for different clients. So my writing career intersected with this field of interest in multiple ways.
With Halloween coming up, there's going to be a lot of people walking around carrying flashlights over the next couple of days. Would you be willing to do like a little couple-minute video on one of your streams, like some basic tactical things we can do with the flashlight to protect ourselves during the Halloween festivities?
I think I might even have a video about that already on my martial arts channel. I'd have to look. I forget. My memory is not very good, and I forget the stuff that I put up. It all blends together after a while.
Dude, if you threw on a costume and made a little video, it'd go viral, bro.
I need Perry's giant cockroach costume. I think I would look good in one of those.
You need a giant Spider-Man.
You would go viral, bro.
So you need.
You should put a little something funny out, I think.
In fact, you know what? We get Phil in a giant Spider-Man outfit. We get Spider Elmore in a tiny Spider Elmore outfit, and we just rock it.
Just rock it. There you go.
That's how we do.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what is your approach to discipline and motivation?
I have a lot of motivation. I'm not so great with discipline, but basically,
I like to choke a girl. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. This is something different. Sorry about that.
Strike one for DG. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Phil.
Well, you can do anything you want if you want it badly enough. It's just a question of what do you want.
He's a philosophizer.
I try.
He's a genius, bro.
Perseverance.
You know,
Yeah.
Genius.
My own ambitions are many, and I have a lot of different projects that I'm working on at any given time. So the problem I have is I'm always overextended in terms of the amount of time I have to do stuff. Like I got to spend the weekend working on a massive edit for a freelance client. I got stuff to do early next week. You know, it's just always busy.
Yes, you are. You're a busy, busy man.
Making that money.
Making that
For as
moolah.
much as I work, you'd think I'd make more.
You know what?
You're always spending it too.
Yeah. It goes in your hand and right out your hand.
That's my problem.
It burns a hole right through your pocket, doesn't it?
Every day.
Wow.
Every day, chow. Every fucking day.
So out of all, how many books have you written?
I don't even know. It's been so many. I wrote 23 books for Gold Eagle / Worldwide Library alone. Those are commercially published action novels. I've written countless books, nonfiction and fiction, for various clients. So there's a lot of books floating around out there that I wrote that I don't take credit for because I ghost wrote them. So the person who wrote them, or the person who paid for them, gets to take credit. And then, gosh, there's a bunch of stuff I've done under my own name too. So I have lost count of how it's probably somewhere between 50 and 100.
And they're not all on martial arts, right?
Oh no! They run. My best-selling book is a book on CPAP machines.
Right, that's right. Yes,
not without a sense of irony.
Yeah.
Point Dabble Point was a roundtable about Stuttering John. Point Dabble Point is now a roundtable about Stuttering John, featuring guys named Vincent who don't like me. So today we had Vince the Evil Lawyer on the show, also Trucker Andy, but that isn't the news here. And yes, top of mind is the fact that I received not one but 2 emails from somebody that I believe is Stuttering John. We read the second one, the short one, on Point Dabble Point today, but it's the first one that I'm much more interested in. Also, I'm convinced that this is Stuttering John, even though the guys didn't think so. It sounds like him, but we'll get to that. It's a rotating show. Like, it's never meant to have the same hosts on it week after week. The only reason I was invited on again is because I think they thought putting me and Vince the Lawyer in the same broadcast would be fun, because, you know, Vince does this thing where he tries to be funny, but he's so dry and so not funny that no one can tell that he's joking. And then he has single-handedly made up several false rumors about me that are essentially slander, but about which I can probably do very little because Vince is a lawyer. And probably the reason Vince went into lawyering is because that's one of the few professions that people fear on its face. So it was probably an act of self-preservation if he was going to conduct his life the way Vince does in terms of his relationships with other people. So I saw a meme floating around. I probably should have downloaded it and put it in here so I can share it with you, and I neglected to do that as part of my show prep. But the 4 of us are sitting there behind our microphones, and Vince was literally behind his microphone with his microphone obscuring his face. So somebody created a meme where they made the microphone much bigger. So that was funny. Get ready. Here it is. You've earned it. And who knows, there wasn't a lot of demand in the poll that I did for more nunchucks lessons, but if it turns out that there is in subsequent polls, I can do more. I wrote a whole book on this. Here it is. All right. The thing about nunchucks is people are afraid that they're going to hit themselves. It's going to touch you when you're spinning it around your body, and then you flip it up over your arm. When you put it under your arm, it's shedding its momentum. So yes, it touches you, but it doesn't hurt. So lesson 1 is to practice. Just do a spin at the side of your body. Now, we're not going to talk about striking in lesson 1. Striking involves following through. That's the secret to using the nunchucks. But just practice flipping it up and feeling it as I hit the ceiling. Feeling it, feeling it, feeling it. Gosh, I enjoy that kind of thing. What did that say? Phil, you'd know John knows if you didn't block everybody on X. I only block people who insult me. Big Mike is a libertarian rap star, you dolt. Okay, well, if I had you in front of me, I guess I would block you, but I can't get to that just yet. So I'll get around. Don't worry. I'll get around to blocking you eventually. Okay. And all right. Butterfly knife. The first lesson for the butterfly knife is how to open it the pretty way. Gab House says, Phil, why did you ban me making fun of your wait time? I interpreted your comment as an insult, so I banned you. I appreciate you sending me a generous super chat. I can unban you if you tell me what your account name was. But basically, I don't feel like I believe in freedom of speech, but I don't feel that freedom of speech obligates me to tolerate being insulted or bad faith arguments. So I generally just sweep those aside. I would say that the way to avoid accidentally being banned would be to be polite. And you can even criticize me and disagree with me, but if you're just being a dick, then, I usually just brush those away. It seems reasonable to me. I've never quite understood why people are like, why won't he let him tell him his mother is ugly? I don't get it. Stay Humble says, sources say your heart will attack you. What say you? My heart already tried to kill me. A number of years ago now, I got really sick. I remember I went to the hospital and they took me to the super duper emergency area, more than emergency, because they were worried that one of my tonsils was going to swell up and choke me to death because I was so sick. And I still have them, evidently. I don't remember having them taken out. So I'm sitting there and there was a person in a bed who was apparently a drug overdose. That's where we were in this part of the operation. And people kept leaning over her, and I forget her name. Let's say her name was Kelsey. All night long, Kelsey, can you hear me? Kelsey. Eventually, they wheeled Kelsey away. I don't know what her status was, but this is never good. They came along and they're like, we're gonna put KY up your nose. I'm like, you're gonna what? And then we're gonna shove a camera up there. I kid you not. While he's feeding the cable camera into my nose, he says to someone else that I can't see because I've got a camera up my nose. He says, that smaller camera isn't back there anywhere, is it? And I'm like, I'm right here. And so I got to experience what it smells and feels like to spend Memorial Day weekend at Andy Dick's house. And they get all done. Apparently my tonsil wasn't going to kill me. It was the most sick I've ever been. And then I got bronchitis. And then I got pneumonia. I'm not sure if it was in that order. So finally, after going through all this, I noticed that going up and down the stairs, I didn't just feel like fat guy out of breath. I felt like something was really wrong. And I went to my doctor and I said, well, it might be your heart. I'm like, what? And I found out that it was. I had what's called a reduced ejection fraction, which means that my heart wasn't squeezing enough blood when it pumped. And as a result, it was moving faster than it's supposed to. So my resting heart rate was some insane number. And weirdly, when your resting heart rate is up that high, it makes you quite irritable. So they put me on a bunch of medicine to make it easier for my heart to beat so they could hopefully recover. They don't know what caused it. I had a conversation like, what did it? We don't know. Will it get better? We don't know. What can I do? We don't know. So they put me on the medicine to make it easier for my heart to beat. And they told me to take a sleep study. Well, this is probably what caused the damage, because when you don't get enough oxygen at night, it harms your organs. So I stop breathing roughly once a minute in my sleep if I don't have any kind of assistance. So I took the sleep study. They determined this. I got a CPAP machine. And suddenly, for the first time in my life, I was getting enough oxygen at night. And my heart has since recovered. I actually have a cardiologist visit next week to get another EKG. These follow-ups happen like twice a year or something like that. It's been a while now. And the problem now is I need to lose weight so that they can get a better baseline on my heart. Because right now I'm fine, but I could be fine because of the medicine I'm on, or I could be fine just because I'm fine. And what they don't want to do is take the medicine away and then you just die. So yeah, that's been a fun adventure. So yeah, my heart has already tried to kill me. They did one procedure where they put a camera into my right here and fed it up into my heart to look at my heart, where I found out that my arteries were unremarkable and I had not had a heart attack. But as they were wheeling me away, and I'm all half drugged up, the guy says, make sure your doctor's. I'm like, what? Well, that sounded important. I found out later it was potassium they wanted checked. I don't even remember why. But so yeah, so no, my heart has tried and failed to kill me.